going to be talking about my experience with teaching English in China. I was really privileged because my parents paid for my trip. It was $1,000 to cover food, housing, and the plane ticket. And then I spent my own money for different souvenirs and things. When I first left for China, it was August 23rd, 2013. And it was about a 11 to 12 hour plane ride. And when I landed in the airport in Beijing, I went to the bathroom and I noticed that all the toilets were squatter toilets. And you couldn't sit on toilets. And right next to the bathroom they had a meditation room. So I knew automatically I was in a totally different culture. When we walked outside, it was so humid. I could barely breathe, it was so humid. And when we went to the hotel, we dropped off all our things and then we decided to go out night exploring. And the next day we went to Tiananmen Square and I felt like a celebrity because so many Chinese people would come up to me and would want to take pictures with me because I was a white girl. We also went to visit the Forbidden City, which was really cool. There was so many tourists though, and lots of Chinese people that we couldn't really see all the sites and buildings that we wanted to see. So we traveled in Beijing for about a week, and we also got to visit the Great Wall. And it was really fun because we took a chairlift up to the Great Wall, and then we took kind of like the alpine slide down the Great Wall, so that we didn't have to hike to the Great Wall itself. It was kind of lazy, but it was a lot of fun. I got to try lots of different food, even in just that 1 week. I tried scorpion on a stick, had pig's blood, and seahorse, lots of different kinds of food. And it was quite the experience. When they give us our school assignments, I found out that there would be 4 of us traveling for 13 hours on train to a really rural city called Linchuan, spelled Linchuan. When I first got to school, I got assigned 3 grades. I had 12 third grade classes, 12 sixth grade classes, and a North American culture class that I taught to high school age students twice a week. I had no curriculum to go off of, so I got to make up my own lesson plans every day for 4 months. When I first entered the classroom for the 3rd graders, they were flying paper airplanes all around the room, and I had no Chinese teacher there to support me, and I was by myself. And so I had to control a class using English, but they didn't know English. So, and I didn't know Chinese. It was a mess. there were times that I would just sit at my desk and start crying, and until a student would come up and give me a hug and start yelling "shut up" to the class. I did learn that Chinese word. I started keeping record of all the classes that were good and all the classes that were bad. And I would give English names to each student. And the bad classes, I would name them names that I thought were mean. Like Agatha and Bertha and Chancho. And then for my good classes, I would name them nice names after my family members. But what I soon came to realize was that these children were stuck at school every day for a full year. They were at a boarding school, so they had dorms near their class. And I learned very quickly that teachers were the moms away from home. I finally learned how to teach after about 2 months, and I would play games with the students like telephone and use lots of visual aids, and I would give them rewards for good behavior, like watching American cartoons. The North American culture class, the students in that class became some of my very best friends. And I realized that even though I went to teach English in China, my students really taught me the greater lesson, and that was how to love. I learned to love the people and culture, and my heart grew a lot. And I feel blessed even to this day from the lessons that I learned from those Chinese students. And that is my speech.